how many folks probably don't know about this? I wonder. But there was a community post from Raven that I'm sure many of you guys might have missed. It had some pretty good info in it. It confirmed a number of things that I didn't expect. I guess, first off, what are your thoughts that Blackout's actually coming in Season 2? They mentioned spring 2026 at COD Next, but as far as I know, Season 2 won't be in the spring. It's like usually a late January, early February start.
I think, just to cover everything broadly, because it all goes in with what I want to say about it. This entire blog post is really odd to me because, like you said, it wasn't at Next. This is information that should have been at Next. It's very big information that probably would have maybe even saved the reception that Warzone got after that, being like, okay, this is really it. We're getting Haven's Hollow. That's it. I know the tease Blackout and everything, but I don't think the reception was generally that good after Next. And I think this would have turned it around completely. And the reason why this blog is kind of funny and odd to me is that a lot of it is like, don't worry, this is coming at some point. This is going to be months down the line, closer to like half a year, 4 months away. It's weird to me that like the 2-3 weeks they needed after Next, or however long it was, a month, was like the time they needed to get that together. When it was already just announcements anyway. It's not like they showed, Blackout gameplay or whatever, right? It was just words, right? But Season 2 release date is cool. The Rebirth refresh is going to be awesome too. Hopefully it gets themed around like BO2. I think it'll be cool. That'd be awesome. Big map rotation coming. That's a groundbreaking feature people have been asking for literally since the start of Warzone. Map rotation back with Resurgence. Again, another bombshell feature, no pun intended, that people have been asking for. And the return of previous Resurgence maps like Fortune's Keep. There's not a lot to complain about when it comes to that. But I think the timing of this blog post was interesting because it was the weekend before Battlefield RedSec came out.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they waited. They tried to like undercut and be like, hey, Warzone's still going to be like big this year, when they had pretty much nothing to say about it at Next. It felt like
but wait, there's more moment for Warzone, which I respect. Don't get me wrong. However, I wholeheartedly agree with the sentiment after COD Next. Probably would have been better if they had announced some of these things, because I will say during the debrief of Warzone the day before COD Next, we're at tech check, we're setting up our PCs and getting everything ready. They gave us a debrief of a lot of the info that would be shared at the event. And as we've seen every year now, they usually don't tell us everything. I totally get that. So this info kind of sounds like what would have ended up being shared as a surprise during the actual event while we were live and didn't expect it. However, it wasn't. And the sentiment about Warzone after the debrief was rough. We're like, wait, if you don't like zombies, you don't like Liberty Falls, you're probably not going to dig Haven's Hollow too much. If you're not a Resurgence player, you won't dig it. And if you're somebody that likes BR and comp and is looking for Avalon or Blackout, you're also probably not going to dig Season 1 all that much. But then the event ended, and like you said, after COD Next, sentiment was rough for just Warzone. Obviously, like we'll probably go over in a future podcast again, or maybe even a second channel vid for fun. Warzone is not Call of Duty, or Warzone isn't the entire Call of Duty experience. It's not the, I think, big package every single year. It is a free-to-play component and extension. But Call of Duty still exists without Warzone. Campaign, multiplayer, zombies, etc. Not that Warzone isn't important, but at least I think like some saving grace following COD Next was the confirmation that Blackout is coming back on Avalon in spring. That was cool. Yep. But this info dump right here was fucking crazy. I mean, first off, map rotation, we all thought you needed to wait for maybe an engine shift and a big reset, cutting off last gen maybe to get a map rotation. And maybe that's what this is. Maybe the map rotation they're talking about won't actually apply to last gen hardware. Maybe it's just for some reason, current gen PC thing. They haven't announced that yet. So we'll see. If you guys are wondering what the BR map rotation is, I mean, I think by default we're looking at Verdansk and then eventually Avalon with Blackout, or does this include Vandal? Maybe, right? Vandal's been rumored to be coming back for a little while. Maybe they'll throw that in. Regardless, Fortune's Keep joining Rebirth is great because you'll have you'll have a Resurgence rotation with 3 maps: Rebirth, Havens, and Fortunes. The thing is though, like with a Rebirth refresh they mentioned, I don't know. I could be wrong here. I'm going to try to manifest this. I think it's Alcatraz portals from Blackout. Do you think that
with Avalon and everything?
Yeah, to go with all the Return of Blackout. Cool. In a perfect world, though, here's how I would have done it. Season 1, Blackout Avalon. Maybe save Haven's Hollow for Season 2 for Resurgence. Or you could throw it in Season 1 as well. So be it. Season 3, Blackout's map remastered from BO4 for Warzone. Boom. And then that's your Warzone that's your Warzone map select, along with, throw Fortune's Keep back in, maybe Vondel too, fine. I know some folks were asking about like Al Mazrah and Urzikstan. I mean, Urzikstan is technically Omni movement ready, and we're not seeing a wall run in Warzone as like a big staple for all modes. They did confirm they're going to experiment with the grapple gun and wall run in like experimental playlists later or LTMs, so we'll see if those make it in permanently. And they also confirmed like a private match tool. You can kick players out finally. That's pretty cool. You can finally kick players out of private matches and I think host matches better. So they confirmed some really good things. Rank play's coming in Season 2, probably end of January, early February. That's typically when Season 2 begins for Call of Duty these days. But maybe like you said, they do like a Black Ops 2 futuristic Rebirth Island or something. I know there's an AI video going around that gives us a concept of it. It's pretty funny to look at. But I'm really, really excited now that they confirmed this in a blog, which a lot of people, I made a video about this, but a lot of people probably don't know about this info because it was just kind of thrown out. What was like a random evening Raven put out? I think I was driving actually, right? I was out. I know I was driving somewhere. It was like 5 o'clock in the evening. Raven put out this community post. And we're like, oh shit, that's a pretty big scoop, man. But now the GTA 6 also got delayed. I wonder if like the original plan was to put out Blackout as soon as possible because they wanted to get out the big, bring out the big guns before GTA 6 takes over. But now that it's not happening, I wonder, will they still stick to Blackout coming out as early as Season 2 or Season 2 Reloaded? Makes you wonder. But any other thoughts and like expectations for hopefully Easter eggs, boss fights, the Blackout aura coming back, maybe manual heating, attachment looting? I mean, Battlefield 6 BR has attachment looting, right? So wouldn't be too crazy to see it come back into the Warzone fray, right? What do you think?
Yeah, you need manual healing, you need backpack looting, you need attachment looting, character missions. That's a baseline. If they're talking Blackout, that's the identity of Blackout there.
Oh yeah, that's peak content, definitely peak content. But regardless, folks, without getting too ahead of ourselves, that's of course that's a conversation about post-launch seasonal DLC. Things we'll be seeing in a few months from now. We still have the full launch of the game to get through first with campaign, multiplayer, and zombies. We'll obviously jump into Warzone and explore the Haven's Hollow Easter eggs that they've teased with Season 1, which I believe is going to be early to mid-December. But